Thanks, David. I hadn't expected the last year to offer much to be proud of, but was it ever full of surprises? Our team has come through the experience not only in good health and more connected, but productive for the wild Northwest. With so many of our staff stationed remotely, working always from their homes near wildlands, we didn't miss a beat. Jay Keeney found a way to foster wildlife passage on Highway 97 north of Omak. Brian Stewart facilitated a broad alliance, successfully resisting a proposed dam of the Chehalis River. Our Forest Field team beat back a monster logging project in the Nooksack Valley. And where Jay Shepard's range riders patrolled, there was negligible wolf conflict. Soon, the state Supreme Court will hear our arguments for why Washington's public lands should be managed better for all the people. I'll remember 2020 as a year we held up against great odds, and now everything looks so much brighter. We're ready to make big moves again. So here I announce something new and very special. 2 months ago, I signed a contract allowing Conservation Northwest to purchase protection for a historic Okanagan ranch that spans almost 10,000 acres. Brace yourselves for a transition from my face to something beautiful. Behold, the Figlensky Ranch, homesteaded in 1904 and held in the family until this year. We're looking west here across the Okanagan Valley to the North Cascades. This property sits at the junction of the Cascades to Rockies carnivore habitat corridor running east to west, and the north-south Sagelands corridor linking the Columbia Basin and the forthcoming Grasslands National Park Reserve in British Columbia. The Figlensky Ranch is not only the linchpin to this ecological landscape, but also an opportunity for social and racial justice. This is a perfect week to be able to say that. The ranch is part of the historic territory of the Okanagan Nation, of which Teresa Ann Terbasket's Lower Similkameen Band is part. And from 1872 to 1892, it was within the reservation of the Colville Confederated Tribes. But it's part of the north half of that reservation that was unjustly taken from the tribes. Our plan is to restore this property to its rightful stewards. Through the Cascades to Rockies capital campaign that we publicly launch right now, the deed for this property will transfer directly from the current owner to the Colville tribes. The Colville Business Council has already resolved both to welcome the donation and to accept on the deed a permanent covenant that commits them to protecting its wildlife and cultural values. We have until fall to raise $4 million or so to provide this more secure future for lynx, wolverine, sharp-tailed grouse, mule deer, and the continued culture and sovereignty of an Aboriginal people. Incredibly, we've already raised over $2.5 million towards that goal. I'm deeply, deeply appreciative of the generous lead donors, including the Nature Conservancy, which is committed at least $500,000. Tonight, we raise funds for Conservation Northwest's core work, not for this capital project. But I welcome your interest if you want to discuss it later. I also want to inform you that while the Washington legislature is yet to pass its budget bills, it's very likely that, thanks to the work of Paula Swedeen and our lobbying partners, $18 million will be forthcoming for WashDOT to finish providing safe passage for wildlife along Highway 97, where it crosses the Cascades to Rockies habitat corridor. Like the Figlensky Ranch and the 1,500-acre Chapman property we protected 2 years ago, this is part of a decade-long body of landscape conservation work that is coming to a successful close in the year ahead. Here's what it means. Say there's a wolverine living around Mount Adams named Wally. And Wally has a date in the spring with Wanda Wolverine in South Central BC. So Wally heads north, eventually traversing the Snoqualmie Pass area along acres we protected and over I-90 on a wildlife bridge we catalyzed. He continues north, eventually to the Southern Loomis Forest Conservation Area we protected in 1999. He then heads east into the Carter Mountain Wildlife Area, pausing to thank Conservation Northwest. Then scrambles safely under Highway 97 through one of our underpasses and scurries up the Tunk Valley through the Figlensky and Chapman ranches, safe all the way to the Kettle Crest, where he heads north, beseeching us to finally gain protection for these wildlands he'll amble clear to the Canada border. Wally and Wanda Wolverine are united again thanks to your generous support. Keeping the Northwest wild in this unique landscape scale way is what we do. It sustains our ecosystems. It makes them resilient to the changing climate.